Welcome to the MyWifeQuitHerJob.com newsletter. Today what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you a brief introduction to the 5-day mini course that you just signed up for. And I thought I'd just introduce myself a little bit and give you a little bit about my background and how I got started with this whole world of entrepreneurship. So as you may or may not know, since you already signed up for the newsletter, I run the popular blog MyWifeQuitHerJob.com, which is a blog about building wealth and entrepreneurship when your spouse wants to stay at home with the kids. And I thought I'd just give you a brief background about how I got started in the world of e-commerce. The year was 2007, and I don't want to call it a disease, but my wife and I, we were very complacent, and we both had day jobs. And basically our day consisted of waking up in the morning, going to work, coming home, having dinner, watching TV until it was time to go to sleep, going to sleep, waking up the next morning, going to our day jobs, and rinse and repeat. It was like that every single day, day in and day out. And the worst part of all this was my wife really hated her job. And you should have seen the look on her face. Every single morning her face would get all long like this and she would go, "Okay, honey, I'm off to the hellhole I call my job." And it was like this day in and day out. She would come home from work. She would then complain to me over dinner how much she hated her job. And it got really bad at some point. And this whole time, we wanted to start our own business, but we were too scared because we didn't know how to proceed. But then she got pregnant with our first child. And, the first thing she said to me was, "I'm going to quit my job and stay at home and raise our child." And, honestly, I was perfectly fine with that because I'm a strong believer in having a parent stay at home with their kids. But honestly, it would have put a severe financial strain on our finances and our expenditures. And, honestly, I was really scared and I was really happy at the same time because at the time she earned $100,000 a year because she worked in finance for a Fortune 500 company, and we were going to lose that income right away. Okay, and so, since we were going to lose this large sum of money, immediately we thought of different ways that we could actually supplant the lost income. And that's how we came up with starting an e-commerce store selling wedding linens. Now, our online store is called Bumblebee Linens, and it's located at bumblebeelinens.com. And we threw up the store in 2007, and within a year, we managed to make over $100,000 in profit, which essentially made up for the lost income for her quitting her job. And it was really great starting the store, and today, honestly, my wife is much happier. The store actually earns much more than her day job now. She only has to work a few hours every day. And the best part is she gets to stay at home with the kids and she gets to set her own schedule. And the best part, even better than that, is, our business has actually grown in the double and triple digits ever since launch. And today, honestly, if I were to quit my job, it would be perfectly fine because honestly, the business makes way more than my income and my wife's income combined. Okay, so that's just a brief introduction about how we got started with in the world of e-commerce and online business. And this 5-day mini course that you just signed up for, I thought I'd just give you a brief overview. This mini course is actually a small excerpt of a much larger full-blown course that I offer on how to create a profitable online store. And this course, if you want more information, it's located at www.profitableonlinestore.com. And the thing I want to emphasize here is that the material I'm about to present to you is not a get-rich-quick scheme at all. It's not about starting the next Amazon.com. It's not about starting the next Facebook or the next Google. It's really about creating a business that suits your lifestyle. Because after all, life is short. You want to be spending time doing the things that you love and hanging out with those that you want to be hanging out with. And honestly, this course is about starting a business that basically allows you to set your own schedule so that you can hang and spend more time with your family and loved ones. Okay, so I just thought I'd give a brief overview about why starting a business online is ideal, just to start out. The best part about starting an online business is that you don't actually have to be physically present to make money. And the best part is a computer can take orders for you essentially while you sleep. And there's very little overhead to maintain a website. And the best part is most of the software is actually already written for you. You just kind of have to be able to customize it towards however you want to set up your online business. And it sounds very difficult at first if you don't know what you're doing or if you're new to online businesses. So a lot of times what people do is they gravitate towards online sites like eBay and Etsy. And I thought I'd just start out by telling you why you should not be using these services for your online business. And first and foremost, the eBays and the Etsys of the world don't actually have your interests in mind. Since they're public companies, their primary concern is their growth and their stock price. And honestly, to meet the revenue estimates, they can raise prices at any time. They can change their algorithms or the layout of their services and make your business harder to find. And one of the biggest problems with these two services is that they don't provide design flexibility. Every eBay and every Etsy shop follows a very similar template, and it makes it very hard to stand out from the rest of the pack. And the worst part is they all charge a percentage of your sales. And let's just take eBay for an example. eBay actually takes between 11 and 15% of your revenue right off the bat, which makes it a lot harder for you to make an acceptable profit for your business. So, I would tend to avoid the eBays and the Etsys at all costs. And this is why you really need to own your own website. You don't want your business to be at the complete mercy of someone else. For example, if you have an eBay store, they could all of a sudden raise rates and put you out of business very, very easily. You want complete design flexibility so that you can stand out from your competitors. And first and foremost, you want to be in absolute control of your own destiny. You don't want your business to go under at the whim of another company because you want to be in full control. Understandably, it's easier to start out with an eBay or an Etsy. But I thought I'd just take a couple moments since a lot of people are scared about starting their own business. So I just wanted to start by dispelling some of the myths of small business ownership. Now, I've been running mywifequitherjob.com for quite a long time now. And, I hear lots of stories. And one thing that the media loves to do is they like to say that 9 out of 10 businesses fail right off the bat. And honestly, I really hate the statistics because most people who start a business don't know what they're doing and they primarily rely on guesswork. Just giving an example, there was a go-kart racing shop that just opened within 5 minutes of my place, and I'm pretty sure they didn't run the numbers because within 6 months they ended up going out of business. Now, I'm a firm believer that if you do the research and you find the right niche online, you can drastically increase your chances of success. And honestly, that 9 out of 10 statistic is pretty bogus if you're prepared. Now, is starting an online business risky? My wife and I actually started our online store on the side while we were still both working full-time jobs. And we basically risked next to nothing to start our business. There were no programming costs, there was no real development costs, and we did everything on the side. So for us, actually, there was actually no risk whatsoever. And in fact, if you plan on starting an online business, I highly advise that you keep your day jobs while you're actually bringing your business up, and then quit once your business is actually more mature. So how much really does it cost to start a business? My wife and I actually started our business for only about $630. And the main cost of that $630 was actually just a digital camera and a computer and about $300 worth of inventory. And with just that $630, we managed to make over $100,000 in profit in our first year. But realistically, you don't even need $630. You can actually start an online store for as little as $5 a month. And, honestly, even if our business were to grind to a complete halt today, it would actually only cost us about $80 to maintain our store. And we've been growing the double and triple digits for about 3 years now. And the fact that it costs so little to maintain our store pretty much means that we can stay in business indefinitely. There's also this common misconception that you have to carry inventory in order to start an online store, and that's actually not true. You can drop ship your goods, and I'll go over what that is in a couple minutes. The other misconception, is that you have to pay a lot of money for your shopping cart, but the shopping cart website is actually free. And honestly, even if you're not that tech savvy, there's a whole bunch of solutions out there that will set everything up for you for free for only about $25 a month, and they won't charge you a percentage of your sales. Okay? Now, a lot of people are very squeamish because they don't feel like they're technical and they don't think they can put up a website. But honestly, all of the software is written for you. And in fact, there's a lot of open source shopping cart packages out there that you can install with just a few clicks of your mouse. And later on in this 5-day mini course, I'm going to actually provide you with a video on how to install a shopping cart in under 5 minutes. And honestly, if you choose to go with a place that'll set everything up for you, it's as easy as signing up. And oftentimes they have a nice drag and drop interface where you can kind of drag and drop different components of your shop and create your shop graphically. Another major concern that people have when starting an online business is that they don't have enough time. Now, I always hate this excuse. I have 2 kids. I still work a full-time job. I run a blog. I run an online store, and I also run a course that teaches you how to start an online store. And quite frankly, I'm not Superman, and I'm actually quite lazy. If I'm watching TV and the remote's not there, I'm not going to get up and change the channel. The key to actually getting stuff done is to break your task down to little pieces that can be accomplished in 20 or 30 minutes. And really, the mindset is, you want to just do a little bit each day and think in the long term. Because honestly, you can't wait for that big block of time because it's not going to happen. Starting a business is probably the best thing that's ever happened to my wife and I, and quite frankly, it's really exhilarating. I remember when we got our first sale, my wife and I were just so happy and so proud. I remember stalking customers online just to see what their behavior was. There was a lot of highs and lows with our business, but ultimately, when all was said and done, we felt an extreme sense of purpose and extreme sense of pride because there's something to be said about being your own boss, setting your own schedule, and honestly, today, my wife and I are very financially secure. Even if I were to lose my day job, it wouldn't be a big deal. Okay? So those are some of the things that I thought I'd just start out with, and I thought I'd now just go into a little bit more depth about the different choices that you can make with your online store. Now, there are actually 3 main online store models: dropshipping, selling physical goods with inventory, and selling as an affiliate. Now, I'll just go ahead and explain each one of these. Dropshipping is when you make an arrangement with your vendor such that when a customer places an order on your website, you essentially go and you place an order with the vendor at the pre-negotiated wholesale price. And at that point, the vendor actually is responsible for packing the shipment and shipping it to the end customer. So dropshipping is ideal because you don't have to carry any inventory. And essentially what that means is your business is very scalable because you're not responsible for shipping the product to the end customer. Okay, so that is called dropshipping. And of course, you can always sell physical goods with inventory, which is the most traditional way of selling things. You buy a whole bunch of goods from a vendor at a wholesale cost, and then you sell it at a significant markup in your online store. Now, the third business model is selling as an affiliate. And the way this works is essentially you're referring customers to another business, and if that customer actually makes a purchase on that other business, you get a cut of the sale or a commission. Now, the difference between being an affiliate and dropshipping is that as an affiliate, you don't actually collect any money. You're simply referring the sale to the business, and if that customer actually makes a purchase, that business actually cuts you a commission check. Okay, so these are the 3 main basic online store models that you can follow. Okay, so now, of course, each different business model has its own trade-offs. Okay, so I've put together a nice table here that outlines the effort level and the profitability level of these different business models. And, as you can see, dropshipping, I've given a 7 out of 10 in terms of effort level. But on the profitability scale, obviously if you're dropshipping and someone else is holding the inventory and shipping the goods for you, the profitability is actually not going to be as high. Now, you contrast that to a traditional store where you actually have to hold inventory and you have to actually ship your products to the end customer. the profitability is going to be naturally much higher. And being an affiliate is probably the lowest overhead and the easiest business model to have, but it actually has the lowest level of profitability. Okay, so these are just some things to keep in mind as you're choosing your online store business model. In the subsequent lessons, which you'll actually receive one per day, I'll go into more depth about the other factors that you need to consider when you're starting an online store. I just hope that this was a very good introduction to the world of e-commerce. And if you want to learn more about how to start a full-blown online store, I highly recommend that you go and check out www.profitableonlinestore.com. And also, if you want, you can just follow my blog, which is at www.mywifequitherjob.com. Thanks.